Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Weeknights with Chaos. Tomorrow is the United States Army's birthday. I forget what it is, like 200 and something. I don't remember. I forget. 100? No, probably not 200 something. I think it's 100 and something. But I don't remember what number it is for the birthday. But thanks for hanging out. Thanks for stopping in to come hang out for this 30-minute live stream for the Weeknights with Chaos. If you have questions, leave them in the live chat as usual. If you're watching this after it was live, you can always leave some questions down in the comment section or check my social media down below. I have links to Instagram is probably the best one to get a hold of me at, and you can ask questions there as well. We got some awesome people that were like quick to get in here from the notification platoon. We got Jacob, we got SCP, Creative Perspective Media, we got Roy, we got Lovable Xena, we got John, we got Gathan, we got Harland, we got Edward, we got Southern Sun, Brandon, we got Joe, we got Charles, Doug the Eliminator, Ethan, all sorts of amazing people. So thanks for jumping in, thanks for clicking the notifications, and thanks for clicking on that notification to get you into here. So what do we have going on? What's happening, Roy? What's happening with Lovable Xena? Happy early birthday, U.S. Army. I'm sure the Army appreciates that, Jacob. Same from Lovable Xena. Wonder if I can get my dad to celebrate. Maybe Harlan. Usually, like, the Army will do like Army balls. That's one of the big things that they'll usually do. Yeah, I mean, I have tomorrow off. I had to do 410s to make it happen, but because there's no soldiers coming in tomorrow, they have a 3-day weekend. We did 410s so that I can take tomorrow off, so I get to be off tomorrow. So it's like my Friday today, so it's awesome. Hell yeah, made it, Hool. Awesome, Southern Sun, welcome into here. With your shipping on August 19th, well, good luck to you. Hopefully everything works out great. Hi, I missed your last one. Has something to do. Well, thanks for being here for this one. That's awesome. 244, I think, for the birthday. Yeah, maybe it's something like that. 2 something. I was thinking, so 244 years tomorrow. So there you go. That's what you guys say. So I'm gonna take your word for it. I see several people saying 244. So there you go. 244th birthday. Hey Chris, who makes the music for your intro? I use a service called Epidemic Sound where you pay for a subscription, and they've got a bunch of music on there, and they have a bunch of artists that contribute music to that website for the subscribers, and so that's where the music, all my music comes from that website. So, Rachel, what's happening? Good evening to you. How do you become a major or a general? You have to go officer, and you have to be in for a long time, because that would take a little ways to get there. Usually most people don't get to major until probably about 8-10 years or so in the Army as an officer. So you're gonna have to go to ROTC, or have to go to OCS and already have a bachelor's degree, or go to West Point. What's up, Derek? 1775 is the birth year. Oh, there you go. Yeah, makes sense, I guess. I was thinking for some reason it was less than 200, but yeah, that makes sense then. Saw your video with Ben Allen. It was pretty cool. What was your favorite vehicle to drive as an ADMIC? I like the PLS. The PLS is pretty cool. Let me see if I can pull up a photo if this will work. Army PLS. Let's see. So it kind of looks like, let's see which one's the best picture to show you guys. I guess this is okay. This one's got it with a trailer. Let me switch over and show you guys. Hopefully if I have it set up properly. Yeah. No. This is the PLS. It's pretty good. This is a picture with a trailer though. I mean, this is a trailer attached to it. But I like these ones. This rack. See, like, you can have an example here. You can kind of see the rack actually lowers, so whatever cargo you have attached to this rack, you can have pallets of stuff or whatever on there, and this thing lowers so you can put it on the ground. So you gotta make sure everything's really secured so that when you go to dump it up like this, everything doesn't fall off. Plus, you can also pick up stuff, so you can leave these on the ground, and then you can have stuff attached to it and strap it down, and then use the hook arm here to pick it up back onto the vehicle. So that's probably one of my favorite vehicles that I liked in the Army. So the PLS probably. How do you become a warrant officer? Well, I got a video on that. If you check out warrant officer video, you can probably find that out as well. Navy or Army? Oh, I guess I'm going to be Army choice because I was in the Army. Had future soldier PT today. Can't wait to leave for basic. Well, awesome. Good to hear. How was your day, sir? It was good. Good day. You know, longish. You know, doing 410s, like I said, so I can get tomorrow off. But other than that, it's all good. Friday intro music is awesome. Fridays, oh yeah. So yeah, that's right. You always comment saying it's like a like the music for like a wrestler coming out and stuff. I know I like that intro too for the Friday videos because I basically have so I have like I don't have any kind of intro video for MOS Monday. This is the Tuesdays and Thursdays, and it's kind of like a little intro for that, which is a similar version to the weekend's live stream song. It's very similar, so it's actually a different version of that song. And then Wednesdays is the old school one that I was using for a long time, and then Friday's video is that one, which is pretty badass. Why are recruiters unlikely to inform their cadets about the loss of their First Amendment rights? One of my friends almost got in trouble. I don't know. It's not going to be around. It's not something that everybody does. You might have had a situation where that particular recruiter or whatever, but it's not like a policy where that happens. So if you had something where they didn't tell you that kind of stuff or whatever, you know, there's a certain way you have to act in the military. And so if you do your homework before you go into the Army about certain regulations, then you would know about some of that stuff. I mean, some of that stuff isn't going to be, you know, handed to you right up front, and, you know, a recruiter isn't going to necessarily tell you all about all the regulations. So it's just up to you to do some of that homework ahead of time, to not just be like, this is a cool job, I want to do it. You know, you got to look a little bit deeper than that. Getting up early tomorrow to wake up my family to the Army song in my loudspeakers. They're probably gonna be very mad, but let me know how that goes. I want to be an officer, but I hate school/college. Well, there's not much other way to become an officer other than getting a bachelor's degree. I'm a corporal in my JROTC class, so next year I might rank up. I really hope. Well, awesome. Good luck to you. Hopefully that works out good. So it seems like a really cool program. I'd like to actually like check out like a JROTC class one day, but it's kind of there's not like one in my hometown, and I don't want to just go to some random school. Be like, hey, I just want to check out your JROTC class. Year 9 or 10 is when most make major. Yeah, so somewhere's around there for people making that kind of rank. Big time vehicle in today's Army. Yeah, the PLS is definitely very handy. Tomorrow's my birthday too. Well, happy birthday to you, Nicholas. You can celebrate with the United States Army. Go Army, beat Navy. Agree. Hey Chris, which MOS is the one where you have the most detailed duty at the moment? I don't know, that could really vary, and that really depends on the unit sometimes too, because there can be times where we have a busy MOS, but your unit isn't super active with doing that kind of thing, and so then you just get stuck doing a lot of details. So that there's no real set MOS that really can guarantee that you get stuck with a lot of details. It just sometimes depends on the situation, the unit, what's going on, things like that. So there wouldn't be a really set one. Cadet Corporal, just a rank higher than I was. I'm a former Cadet Lance Corporal. Awesome. Don't forget to like the stream. I agree. We'll see if we can't get it to 50. You know, we're at 13 right now, currently from what I see on my screen, but we'll try to see if we can't get that stream to 50 before the live stream ends. Can I train with Special Forces as an 88 mic? Want some excitement? Not generally. No. I mean, they might be cool and let you come over and do something like that, but yeah, no, not normally. That's not gonna be a thing. What did you have for lunch? I had hot wings. I'm a big fan of hot wings. So me and one of my friends went to this hot wing place near the base and had hot wings. If you could choose another branch to join when you enlisted, what would it be? Probably Air Force. I probably would have. I was actually originally going to try for Air Force, but I was going to be a mechanic, and then I went with the Army because I figured the Army would have more wheeled vehicles, which is more of what I wanted to do. I didn't want to work on planes. I mean, the Air Force still has wheeled vehicles, but I figured I'd get more of a variety of wheeled vehicle training with the Army. So I ended up going that way. Chris, have you ever witnessed the MPs cuff and stuff a soldier? Do you ever see soldiers resist an MP? I've only maybe like once or twice seen a soldier getting handcuffed by the MPs. I didn't know the person or anything like that. I think I just saw it in passing or something like that. I don't think I've ever seen an MP or a soldier resist the MPs though. So I heard the vets I work with talk about kits for combat. One guy served in Vietnam and the other Desert Storm, and one guy served OEF and OIF. So what is the set gear set for combat? So your kit, I'm assuming you're usually talking about your vest, your helmet. So it's like your vest. You have on that vest, you have magazine pouches for your ammunition, maybe a Gerber sometimes or a knife, just for extra stuff. Then you'll have your helmet, and that's usually the more common one. Then you also have usually the SAPI plates that go along with the vest, the groin protector and the throat protector, eye pro, gloves, that kind of a thing. That's usually the standard kind of uniform you're wearing in a combat situation or combat environment. Got a super chat from William. What's happening, William? Thanks for the super chat. Welcome to Weeknights with Chaos. Did you lose any comrades in the military? Not like from combat or anything like that. There's been some people that I've known that later things have happened. There's been medical issues, car accidents, things like that. There's never been anything where in a firefight or in a combat situation that something has happened. So only in those circumstances. There's probably only one that wasn't really necessarily a close friend, but it was a person that I hung out with occasionally here and there. It was a really cool dude, and he had some medical complications that he ended up later dying from and stuff. So that was the only one. Everybody else was more of people I just knew in general. Wasn't really people I hung out with and was really close with. But still, either way, it still sucks and it's horrible. But not any kind of combat situations. I'm sure JROTC isn't a complete joke at your school. Are you usually responding to something else? Hello, love your videos. Well, thanks. Thanks for the comment and thanks for stopping in. Hey, Chris, love your channel. I always learn something new. Question, what was your time max push-up total? Just curious. For the PT test you're talking about? I wasn't a super stud PT kind of guy or anything like that. If you're talking about the best I've ever done, I don't know what the best. I know my average push-ups were usually around in the 40s or 50s. Nothing super crazy, I think. I wasn't very great upper body wise. So I think it was probably around 40s or 50s. And then sit-ups usually averaged in the 70s or 80s. I was usually pretty good at sit-ups. And then my run time wasn't really that fast. I think I usually was running around the 15s, I think, or 14s or 15s. I think low 14s I think was my fastest I've ever done. But I think on average was 15 or 16 minutes for my 2 miles. Something around I'm just ballparking of what I think it was. But I think it was something like that. I wasn't a big super PT stud or nothing crazy like that. Shipping August 6th at 88 Mike. Would I be able to use the phone at AIT? Yeah, you'll have opportunities to do stuff. That's right. I think you left a comment on one of the things and I didn't get a chance to get back to you. But yeah, you usually will. Sometimes it'll still depend on the leadership of how strict they are and how things are kind of going. But yeah, back when I did it, you had payphones, so you had to use payphones. Nowadays, they let you keep your cell phones. Sometimes in AIT, sometimes they'll have you lock them up maybe the first couple weeks or whatever, and then later you get privileges to have your phones. In basic training, you can bring your cell phones with you, but they lock them up, and then there may be designated times that you can bring them out and call home, since they don't do payphones anymore, because that's the way I used to have to do it back in the day, where you'd have dedicated time. Maybe it'd be once a week, maybe it'd be once a month. It just kind of depended on the leadership. But they do that with cell phones. From what I understand, a lot of people say that in AIT with cell phones is a lot more relaxed. So with 88 Mike, it's only a shorter one. So there's a possibility where the first couple weeks might be really strict, and then you might get the cell phones. I don't really know too much on that. But typically with AIT, they're a little bit more relaxed on it after basic training, and you probably get a lot more phone privileges at that point in time. I want to become a 25 Victor. That'd be pretty cool. You have to let me know how it goes if you end up doing that. I'm curious to that MOS. All right, jumping around through the comments a little bit. Let's see. How hard is it to qualify for Delta Force? Extremely hard. You have to be selected. For one, they usually only select people from most commonly the Ranger Battalion and Special Forces. to go over there. So you have to be in one of those, which is already extremely hard enough to get into either Rangers or Special Forces. And then from there, you have to prove yourself and be, elite and top of, your unit and everything like that for them to want you in Delta. So pretty hard. In my personal opinion, I would probably consider it much higher than like SEALs or anything else. I think Delta is like, of any military branch, I don't think there's anything more elite than Delta. But that's just my opinion. Other people might have arguments, and that's fine. I'm pretty sure it's going to be pretty much impossible to beat Delta. It's extremely hard. My stepdad's best friend, Chinook crashed. That sucks. Do you have any experience or have any knowledge of the D-Lab? No, I've never taken that. It's the language test. I don't speak any other languages. I know a few phrases and words in a couple of languages, but I don't have any reason to take it. I never needed to take it for a MOS to get into that, to learn a language or anything like that. But that's usually, for those of you who don't know, that's usually the test to determine what language you would be able to learn the best, to be able to go to like a language school or something like that. But I've never taken the D-Lab, so I don't know. I'm in JROTC. You can come to mine, Lafayette High School in Georgia, in Walker County, northwest part of Georgia, if you're interested. Sure, let's come on out of Georgia. Yeah. I don't know, I feel like that'd be kind of creepy. Who's this guy just showing up to some high school kids JROTC? I don't know how well that'll work out. What do you think about militias? I don't really know that whole lot about them. Would love to stay, but gotta go. Chris, love your content. Night, everybody. Well, thanks for dropping in. Delta has openings for tryouts about twice a year, and they only hand select the best of the best, like super high speed ODA SF operators. Yeah, it's really tough. I mean, it's already tough enough just to get into Special Forces and Rangers. My lefts go to Delta. So, Chris, when you're at work as a contractor at Fort Carson, do you have PX privileges? No, not as a contractor. I mean, I can go to the PX. I can like look around if I really want to. I can't buy anything inside the PX, but I think I mentioned it in like that video of like what's at a PX, the 2 Minute Tuesday video. But on the outskirts of the PX, they have like a food court and some small little shops and stuff like that. That stuff I can go into, because that one's really for anybody. They can go into that kind of stuff. You don't have to be, military or anything, or you can just be regular civilian for that stuff. The only thing different that because I do have a government ID card that I can get into that other people wouldn't normally be able to get into, who aren't either military or government, is the gyms. I am allowed to use the gyms because I'm military, contractor. So I have the military ID, so I can go to the gyms. But I still can't use the commissary. I can't use the PX. I can use the shopettes. They have shopettes, which is like little gas stations and stuff, and you can use those for anybody though. But the gym is really the only extra benefit I get over just a regular civilian that was on base. My sister showed up hung over to formation, and now she's in trouble. Yep, that can be a problem. Talk about knives, or you're talking about bayonet? It says dagger. I still got mine from the 80s, good old timer. They sometimes still do bayonet training, I think, in basic, sometimes. I don't know if they've phased it out yet or not, but there's no real times when you ever have a bayonet. If that's what you're talking about. If you're just talking about a regular knife, well, I got several knives like just laying around all sorts of places. I got this little Gerber one right here. I got some stuff from one of those little military style unboxing ones, like this knife here that's pretty cool. If you're talking about that, I have this giant one over here that was pretty cool that came in one of those boxes. So talking about those knives. I don't know why I have all these knives. Like I said, a couple of these came from those boxes. I don't really use them that often, really. But they're cool. They're cool knives, I guess. Sup, Chris? Do the military or just the people? What are you talking about? Sup, Chris? Do you the military or just the people? I don't know what you're talking about. Was there a previous question? I don't think so. How many of y'all joining the military or are already enlisted? I am the only one doing infantry. I'm leaving in July. Well, good luck to you. Good luck going infantry. Delta is the best of the best, tougher than SEALs and smarter than the Marine Raiders and special breed of elite group of soldiers. I agree. That's what I kind of feel like. Of course, I've realized something recently. In a few years, I can eligible for burial at Arlington National Ceremony. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, if you're, I don't know how all the requirements work for Arlington, but I think you just have to be a veteran. I think I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the stipulation is for that. Jay the Vorn, what's happening, man? Welcome to Weeknights with Chaos. Got any advice for MEPS? Not really. You're just really going with the flow for things. There's nothing you can study for or pre-do or anything like that. You're just going with the flow, going to multiple stations. They're telling you where to go. You're taking some paperwork with you. Go to one area, you have to pee in a cup to, submit a drug sample. You have to, do a little physical stuff. You'll have to do a color test, eye test, some questionnaires, some like psychological questionnaire stuff, multiple things that you're doing at MEPS. And then once you're done with all that stuff, then they'll sit down with you at a computer with a representative, call you back there, and then they'll kind of go over your results of everything from MEPS to tell you what MOSs are available based on your physical, your ASVAB score, and just what slots are available for MOSs, because there might be some MOSs that maybe you qualify for, but they're not currently accepting new soldiers. So sometimes that can play into factor. So don't think that just because you did great on the ASVAB and you did great at MEPS and everything like that, that you automatically qualify for any MOS you want. Sometimes the MOS you want, just there's no slots available for you to go into that, and you have to either wait or just take something else. So there's not really any good advice really for MEPS. It's just going through the flow. Yes, it's true. JRTC is fun and easy. Just be respectful and do what your commander tells you to do. And if she or he tells you to fix something, do it. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of prep for the military, I mean, some people may or may not go into the military after JROTC, but it's really, if you suck at JROTC, you'll probably suck in the military. So you might have to take a hard look of if that's really something you want to do, really. Can't ever have enough blades. Yeah. I don't do anything with them. They just sit here. Chris, you showing up at our high school would be one of the least weirdest things that would have happened in our class. We have done weirder stuff and have weird conversations than that. It'd be interesting. I don't know. Do you prefer a knife that you can close by folding it, or one that you have to put in a case? Probably like a folding one's more convenient. I have one that I usually carry around, like with me at work and stuff. It's a folding one, but it's also got a little thing flip up for like a screwdriver, so it's kind of handy. So sometimes I use it at work occasionally, and that's the one I usually like carry around with me when I'm at work and stuff. So that one's a folding one, and so that one probably works a little bit better. Do you miss the military or just the people? Sorry. Oh, okay. Probably just the people. I wasn't really a big fan of the lifestyle. Sometimes it's okay, sometimes it's rough, sometimes it's long hours, sometimes it's short hours. It's really, not very consistent on how things can go sometimes, occasionally. Most of the people were pretty cool, so I made a lot of cool friends and got to know a lot of cool people from the military, but yeah, I probably miss the people a lot more than I would say miss the Army lifestyle, I guess. Chris, what is the current Army bayonet? M9? No, I don't really have a bayonet anymore. Nobody really uses bayonets anymore because they're not really doing that same close combat like you might have had with the bayonet kind of days. But yeah, they don't really do bayonets anymore. 35 more pounds for me to lose to enlist. I was 100 pounds. I'm getting closer. Good. Oh, you're trying to gain weight? Or for you to lose? Okay, for you to lose. Okay, gotcha. Okay. Well, good luck to you. Hopefully it works out. Just do lots of cardio. Cardio helps sometimes. It's because I'm a dependent and my dad will retire in 2022. Oh, okay. Interesting. For the requirements for Arlington. Pee in a cup. Who has to drink that? Nobody. That'd be gross. I have a machete and a pocket knife. It's hardcore. I don't know what you need a machete for. Are you living in the jungle? Or you just like the giant knife? I'd kill to get my hands on a M1917 Enfield and a M1917 bayonet. You can probably get, I think the bayonet, I've seen places where you can get bayonets. I think they're kind of pricey though, because they're kind of collector things. Enfield I imagine to be a little bit tougher, but I want to say bayonets I've seen at some places. They're probably still pricey and stuff. Coast Guard Auxiliary is fun. At least my Fortilla is a great group of guys and gals, but it depends on what they have you do and who you work around. Interesting. I don't know anything about auxiliary stuff, but if you're enjoying it, that's awesome. Are you responding to Edward? Edward's all about the auxiliary stuff, man. That's fine. How much do you have to weigh to enlist in the Army? It depends on your age, and men and women have different standards. I don't know off the top of my head. I want to say it's like something like 130 pounds, 140 pounds for men. I don't know. It's probably lower for women for a minimum, because there is like a minimum. So everybody always thinks that there's a max or whatever, which there is, of course, and then there's other standards that go along with it, because if you go over that weight, doesn't necessarily mean you're fat. There could be, you could just be muscular or whatever. So then they tape your neck and they tape your chest and your stomach and stuff. And then they makes the determination of if it's overweight because of muscle or overweight because of fat. And then that goes that way. But there is also a minimum weight standard that soldiers have to meet as well. And if you don't meet those minimum weight standards, they won't let you join. They'll make you gain weight. I've known a guy where my girlfriend was working with this guy at one of her places that she worked at, and he wanted to join the Army, but he was underweight, and so he was trying to gain weight and couldn't gain enough weight to be able to join the Army. And then if it was a weird situation where you're in the Army and just lost a bunch of weight and then became underweight, they'd put you on some kind of like crazy like meal planning or special diet to help you kind of gain the weight and stuff. But yeah, there is a minimum and a maximum. I just don't know offhand. It goes off male or female as well as your age. Yeah, I gotta go to gun shows more. There's a place here in Colorado Springs that does a pretty cool thing. It's a place called Dragon Man's. And usually around the 4th of July time frame, they usually have these bunch of weapons, and you can pay to fire all these exotic, crazy weapons and stuff. It's pretty cool. It's kind of fun. Me personally, at my height and age, I need to be no more than 180. Interesting. Yeah, so like the shorter you are, usually the lower the max is. Taller you are, usually has a little bit more weight leniency to kind of go off of. I live in an 8-acre field where the grass grows 3 feet tall. All right, well, maybe you gotta chop through it to find your dog, or just get through the yard. Then it's understandable. Chris, if an NCO needs or wants to reclassify, do they still go to AIT with all the regular privates, or do they have AIT classes for NCOs? So it works slightly different. They still do go to the same AIT all the privates are going to, but they won't stay in the barracks where all the new soldiers are staying at. So that also applies not only for NCOs, but someone who has already been in the military and wants to reclassify to another MOS. They would still go to AIT, but they would live in like a housing area, or not housing area, but like these better barrack kind of like temporary lodging kind of area, where those soldiers would be living in those, and they wouldn't be doing all the crazy stuff that the privates and the new soldiers are doing of like mopping floors and doing all that stuff in random formations. They're just strictly living in those little areas and then showing up to class. So when they have class, they have a set time of when they have to be at class and location, and they just show up to class and they just attend the classes and go through the motions through that way. So it's a very minimum of a drill sergeant interaction for those individuals, whether it's non-commissioned officer or just some other person or whatever. So that's how that way ends up working. So they don't have to do all the same craziness that the privates do, and they don't stay in the same barracks. My major and I was talking. I forgot that he was a major, and I thought he was a sergeant, so I started messing around with him. He kept on calling me brave private, which I thought was weird. At the time, we're in cities. Interesting. How old do you have to be to enlist in the Army? You have to be, well, you can be 17 with a parental consent, but I believe you have to turn 18 by the time you're going to finish either basic or AIT. I forget which way it is, but there is ways to do 17. Usually 18 is the easier way to go, because you don't have to do any crazy stuff. But 17 you can, but you have to, I think, turn 18 by the time you're going to finish AIT, I believe. Could be 34. I don't know. What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. Cutoff age of enlistment is 42. Not for the Army. I think is that the federal age? I think that's the federal age, but the Army has a lower standard than that. For the Army, it's 35. So you can't. Sometimes they'll allow waivers if you're over 35, and it depends on the MOS you're going into. I think there is a higher age requirement if you're going National Guard though, to where you can be a little older. But for active duty, 35 is the cutoff. You can't be any older than the age of 35 to join the Army. 5'9", 23, and 205, so 180 max, no less than 155. Interesting. Never heard of that. Could be. Are you responding to someone? Oh, you're talking about the bayonet thing? Yeah, I mean, I've seen them before, but I know you can join as a specialist since my sister did, but can you join as a corporal? No. No, you can't join as a corporal. Corporal is usually assigned to individuals that are already kind of in a leadership type of position, and maybe some other set requirements. So you're not just going to join in a leadership position. So that's usually how it goes. There's also a common, misunderstanding of people thinking that corporals are only like in the infantry, and that's not true. There's any MOS can be a corporal or whatever. It's just commonly thing that they'll promote a specialist to corporal if they're in a leadership position and they need that person to be in a leadership position as a little bit more authority as basically an NCO, and maybe they're going to eventually become a sergeant. So that's how it usually ends up going, but you can't come in the Army as a corporal. What would happen if you enlist the Army but for some reason you can't go anymore? Could it be bad? So like if you go to MEPS and then you sign a contract and then something happens, like you get injured, they're going to either delay your basic training or just kind of waive it, because really you're not officially in the Army until your first day. You show up at reception, then that's when you're official in. And then that's kind of, a little bit more complicated of stuff. But if you haven't even gone off to basic training yet and you got injured, then that's pretty easy to just kind of like waive it and be like, hey, you were never in the military. You can try again after you're healed or whatever, or we can delay it or whatever and reevaluate you. But yeah, kind of something along those lines. We're almost cutting to the cutoff time. These live streams are only 30 minutes, so we're coming up to the 30-minute mark. So we got a little bit longer before this is gonna be ending. So I won't have a whole lot of time to get to very many more questions, but I'll do my best to get to some good ones, hopefully. I'm just skipping around though still. How hard is it getting a crew chief position as a 15 Tango? I have my private pilot license, just no degree, and want to fly. I really have no idea. I have no experience working with any kind of MOSs that work with the aircrafts or anything like that, so I don't have any good tips on that. ThatChrisChaos, oh really, they lowered the age. We had 3 guys over 40, and 42 when I went through active duty. Infantry OSET 05, 06. Yeah, I don't know if it was something that changed or whatever, but if you look on Army's website, they have the standards listed there. So I don't know if it changed sometime at some point in time, or it's always been like that, and those individuals got in with a waiver, or they were National Guard, because I think National Guard has a higher standard, or like a little bit more leniency on age. But yeah, if you go to like the Army's website now, it says the cutoff age is 35. Even though there's a federal rule, I think of like 42, 45, something like that, but the Army has lowered that for the Army to 35. Can you go from PFC to corporal? Maybe. I feel like it'd be really rare though. They usually don't want to just go and bump a PFC straight to corporal. They'd probably make them a specialist first and then kind of go from there and figure out if that person is really leadership material and they need to go the extra step to make them a corporal. Some units have different requirements on that, like maybe you have to have already attended the basic leader course, and then maybe they'll promote you to corporal, and then while you're waiting for you to make the cutoff scores to make sergeant, kind of a thing. Some won't do it that way. I was corporal for a month, and that was just because I had already done the leadership course. I was just waiting for points to kind of kick in. The next month, my points kicked in, and I got promoted to sergeant. So I was only corporal for a month. So I really think it was just something because they need extra people to pull CQ duty. They need NCOs for that. National Guard time starts officially after swearing into the Guard. Interesting. Yeah, usually like for active duty or whatever you go in, because National Guard will get their IE cards sooner, where everybody else, like active duty and reserves, they don't get theirs until basic training. In the early 80s, the average age for basic trainee in my company was 18 to 25. Yeah, that's still kind of similar to what it is kind of now. It's around that age. There was a few people I remember through my basic training that might have been, like 30, something like that. Oh, Jay the Vorn, bad news. Chris burnt my dinner. Man, that sucks, man. Sorry to hear that. I leave for basic training on Monday, 19 Delta. Good luck to you, Jason. Looks like Postmates tonight. That's actually what I had. I had Taco Bell. I Postmates some dinner because the girlfriend had to work kind of late, so I got me and the baby some Taco Bell. Do you still remember how was your first day in your basic training? Yeah, kind of. It was late at night, and it seems like that's kind of a common thing. You show up there super late at night, and it's reception, and you're doing paperwork throughout the night for like a ways. And I think we didn't get to our little area, like these bunch of bunk beds area, until like maybe it was like 11 or 12 o'clock at night, I think it was, or something like that. You went to sleep, and then someone came through at like 6 o'clock in the morning, woke you up to get you outside to go to formation, to go to the chow hall and stuff, because you don't start doing physical fitness just yet right away. It'll start a little bit later, but I still kind of remember it. So we'll do a couple more questions, and then we'll have to cut this off because we're right at the 30-minute mark now. So ish, a little bit past, but it's all right. Chris, do you like Blackhawks or was it Hueys? Probably Blackhawks. They don't really use a whole lot of the old school like Huey type helicopters in the Army anymore. Have a great night, Chris, and have fun tomorrow. Thanks, Rachel. You too. Hungry, should I make some mac and cheese or nah? Yeah, sure, mac and cheese is great. All right, so I'm gonna go backwards, and the last question is gonna be something that probably I missed from earlier. Let me see if I can find something that I missed, and that'll be the final question before we cut this off. Let's see, I'm trying to find maybe something I skipped over. We'll go with this one, I guess. Even though I've probably answered that before. We'll do this one. Hey Chris, this is from Anakin. Hey Chris, I graduate from college in a month. Do you recommend going in summer or winter to the Army? I think it's personal preference as far as would you rather be doing all the physical fitness and Army stuff for basic training and everything in the summertime or the wintertime. Like me, I have a horrible tolerance for cold. I hate the cold. So I would probably rather be in the heat and suck it up and be miserable in the heat than I would be miserable in the cold. So I would rather do the summer, but that's personal preference. So it's going to rely on you for personal preference of would you rather do all of that training in the summer or would you rather do all that training in the cold in the winter? So personal preference, I feel, on that one. So you got to make your own judgment call on that since it's very different. So there you go. So all right, that's going to cut it for this weeknight with Chaos. I'll be back this weekend for the normal Chaos Live 1 hour live stream, and then we'll try to continuously do this on Tuesdays and Thursday nights. Hopefully, we'll see how consistent I can be on it. But thanks for coming. Thanks for stopping by. New video goes live tomorrow, so make sure to check it out and all that kind of fun stuff. Hopefully, you guys will be back on the weekend. If not, I understand. And I'll see you for Chaos Live and all that kind of fun stuff. You guys have a good evening. See you later. See ya.